Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I want to talk about authority, right? And what that is and why it's very useful for you, and also something that I call inner authority, like I don't call it, not like I invented it, but something that I found that's called inner authority, which is something that I've been thinking about for quite a while now. And I just got another reminder of it here lately, and I want to talk about that again. It's a really strong subject and something that can be a bit frightening, but also the greatest thing in your entire life. So let's get started. If you don't know me, I'm Christian. I've built Montgomery with my business partner, Make it where we help coaches, consultants, actually just coaches get rich. That's the easy way to say it. No, we help coaches and consultants get an easy, flowing, consistent, and point system into their business. And that's what we do. All right, enough about that. Let's get right into this. So, the first thing I want to talk about is just quickly explain what authority is and the kind of authority that I'm talking about, right? Now, a lot of people confuse authority with respect. It's actually two different things. So, authority, there's like, say this, you can have authority, right? What does this mean? This basically means that you as an individual have a certain influence over someone else while not doing anything in particular to gain that influence. That's authority, right? The higher authority, the more influence. And sometimes when your authority is, you have a lot of authority, you don't really need to do a lot to an individual to influence them a lot, right? It could also be, you can also look at the way that the more authority you have, the more your influence stacks, the more potent your influence is. So it doesn't take long for you to influence people when you have a lot of authority. Whereas if you don't have a lot of authority, if you basically have no authority at all, when you try to influence people and get them to listen to you and your ideas, they tend to become, what would you call it? They tend to become like they don't care. They don't really want to have anything to do with it. And it's like they just like completely ignore your ideas. And they won't really listen to you or what you have to say because yeah, okay, that's fine. And that's like no authority, right? Because then you really don't have anything to prove them else, since then they would do so, right? And that is really what we want to avoid. Because that's not so positive. No, but when you're at the state of having no authority, of course you have to start somewhere. So to gain authority, wait, I actually don't want to talk about that yet. So when you're at this point of having no authority, right? When people don't really do anything about your ideas, they don't give weight to what you're saying because you do not have the presence, you do not have the respect and power over people and influence over people to actually get them to take you seriously. And this comes with authority. Now, people with a lot of authority sometimes they don't even need to justify their decisions for people to just say, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a fucking great idea. Now, we can take The Rock, for example. Like, a really good example is his tequila brand, Terramana, I think it's called. Like, free shout out for The Rock here. I don't think it does a lot, but his brand Terramana, right? Imagine if Terramana, the tequila brand, did not have The Rock as a, what would you call it? Did not have The Rock as a spokesperson. Like, who the fuck would drink that shit? Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it, but it's probably pretty good. So, like, who would drink it if they didn't have The Rock to literally completely explode their sales to a multi-billion-dollar? I don't know how much it's worth, but I do, if I remember correctly and what I've heard, it's worth multiple billions of dollars, which is completely insane, right? And this brand, right, this product, which is the tequila, right, which is Terramana, like if they did not have The Rock to basically advertise and basically give life and oomph to the brand, then well, it wouldn't have been any particular special tequila brand, would it now? No, it most likely wouldn't. And the reason that worked is because The Rock has such a huge authority in such a large scale of people. Like, who the hell does not know The Rock? And then who the hell does not love The Rock? Dude, he has so much authority over people, and he's just as an actor, right? But he's really famous, and he has, I don't know if you look at his Instagram, right? He probably has like 100 million followers or some crazy shit like that. I don't know. I can't really quote because I don't know. But I could imagine that he has a lot of followers. And all of this is just pure power, pure authority over every single one. I mean, if you went out and said, you know what I eat for breakfast? I eat ice cream with meatballs, right? And say, well, this might sound a bit weird, but it helps me grow my muscles like 20%. Dude, how many would not go out and do that? You can also look within the entrepreneurial space of Alexa Monti. Alexa Monti tells you, go out and make your bed every morning. It's good for you. Then everybody will go out and make their bed every morning, right? Or some like people of authority within certain groups, like these are what we call leaders and guiders, and they can influence a group, and they can say something that the group just unconsciously follows if they have enough authority. And this means trust, this means respect, this means power, influence over others, right? And the way they gain it, the way that people gain this authority, the way that you could gain it, is like first realize where you are, right? Realize what situation you're in with your state of authority over people around you, or like a group that you're in. So what you want to figure out first is where you stand in the hierarchy. Like, what is your role? How much saying power do you actually have? And it might be that you don't really have any. You might be a foot soldier, like that's a like not a actual foot soldier, but a foot soldier in a large company, and that's just mean that you're in the lowest level and you don't really have any authority. Now, the way that you do is that you just start building it, right? And how can you build authority, right? The first thing that you need to build authority is you need to be able to. Well, there's one more thing, like you first need, but I'm going to talk about that in the late part of this video. So let's call this outer authority. This is what you do when you're with other people's, and then inner authority is what you do with yourself. Let's start with outer authority. The first thing you need to learn, that is to listen. Right? You've probably heard this a million times, but the best way for you to start gaining respect of people is by listening to them. Right? When people feel listened to, they feel understood. And if they have problems and you help them with those problems and they see results from those problems, they will, you gain their favor, right? And if you do this enough times, or you help them with a certain amount of problem, they start to respect you for it, right? And this is how you can build it with an individual. And now, of course, this takes time, and you can't really do this with a lot of people at once. Like, you can't individually go to someone and always, like, every time you want to have authority over someone, you want to go to someone and literally like 3 months of training to get them somewhere. But in the start, it will be like this, where you're building your first real loyal followers, and this is basically you helping them with something that could be a struggle in their life, or something that you're struggling with, and you help them get to a place in life where this struggle that they have is not really a problem anymore. And you get to a point, really, where, like, you've done this for a couple of people, right? And a few people you have gained like insane authority over, because they like you literally turn their life upside down and help them so much. You first listen to them, they feel understood, they respect you for that you listen to them. People respect you for listening to them. Second, they respect you, and like they see, and they become hypnotized, that when you solve their problem, you seem smart, knowledgeable, and now you gain influence. And this is basically how you do it. It's another way to say it is that you provide value to someone, right? You give something of value. You give someone something of value that improves their life. Their trust, influence, and likeness in you will go up. And this is basically how you should look at it. So if you have an aura, right? And this aura you want to build. And when people step inside of this aura, they gain certain things. Now, to you to activate your aura, you need to start to do it individually with people giving them value. And then slowly and slowly, as your reputation starts to like rise and you become more known, first it'll be in small groups and a little bit big, a little bit big, a little bit bigger. Like this aura will grow and grow and grow and grow. And everyone who steps within this aura and achieves this value that you're so famous for will like literally become enchanted with you and be under your authority. And I think this is a very interesting thing, right? Like if you look at speakers like Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King Jr., a very famous speaker. Like when he spoke, that is what he needed. But if you don't know his story, like he started up in the small, like he had a dad who went to church, he became a pastor himself. First he gained the voice of all those in the church. Then he came and helped with a case basically, or he started a movement. I can't remember what it's called, so I don't even want to try. But he started a movement where they wanted to stop segregation with black people on the buses, and he won that. And then it improved more because he just proved like that. Boom, he proved that okay, he can help this, and then he did like bigger, bigger, bigger until he was at national level, where like the big famous speech he did in Washington D.C., for example. These are the things that like really help to build the authority, because it is escalating, right? You'll need to put a lot of effort in the beginning to build it, but as soon like the more time it goes, the less effort you have to put in, to the point where you don't even have to do anything. Like look at people, like especially nowadays and age where information is so easily spread. If you look at someone like Alex Amonti, he does like all of his YouTube followers. You think he goes out and knocks on every one of their doors? No, he doesn't, right? It's just like his name, his brand is so huge within this industry that people just come to recognize him by others, right? And this is just like this crazy ripple effect that just escalates. And that is power, right? That right there is really, really powerful. And what can like gain you a lot of authority. Right. And that's the way that you can gain this outer authority on people and really start like bringing them under your wings. Now, you as a leader, like you will become a leader within whatever industry you're doing it in. You have to be careful also, because when this gets big enough, you have to remember everyone, when you say something, people will believe that. Now, you can, like, as soon as you break this and you fuck up real bad, like, it can go away real fast. Right, real fast. And so you really have to be sure that what you're doing, you have to be confident, you have to like know what you're doing is the right thing that you're doing. Not even, and if you make a mistake, just admit it. Don't think too much about it and solve it and move on. Do not make a mess up. Never say you're sorry. You have to be confident and you have to be strong as a leader, right? Because you're an image that people seek to achieve. Now, if you're not that image, you can't really be that, right? So it is like it is a game that you have to try. But your appearance to others is super, super important. Okay. Now let's talk about the inner authority. right? Now, I find this in authority like the most important thing of it, because it's your guide, right? The inner authority is basically guiding you. Now, what does this mean? This means that to be a really good leader, you have to be authentic. And the only way that you can be authentic is by being a leader within a thing that like you actually care about, right? And the way that because a leader inspires purpose on others, right? A leader has found, like really grand leaders, has found their way. They know their meaning of life, and that is very desirable for others. And what a leader does is that not enforces, but he shows this way. And he wants to help others achieve their own way. And he preaches his own way of life, right? Because he has found meaning, right? He has found meaning for himself, and that is what he wants to continue to put on other people, right? That's the goal for him. Now, this way that you gotta find, like inner authority, it's like a voice, basically. And I'm sure you've heard it before. It's called the higher self, right? It's the higher self within you. Now, you really have two sides of you, right? You have who you are right now, and you have who you want to be. And these sides of you are constantly in fight with each other, always fighting to be the best, or fighting to be the better one. Whereas what you want is, of course, the better side to win. But more often than not happens is that the better side does not win because it is weaker. And what authority does is that it helps guide the right side of you, the good side of you. But this voice is usually overrun, right? It's a side telling you, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you should do that. Take a chance here. That voice, like the gut feeling. Sometimes you just hear it loud and clear within you, talking and guiding you on the right path. The more you exercise it, the more you start to listen to it, the more it will come up, the more it will be there again, and the easier it will be to make hard choices. And sometimes the choices that might seem quite boring in a boring lifestyle. But once you find that purpose and your way, it doesn't matter anymore. I'll tell you this, because once you've found your way and what you want to do and you're sure of it, you can go through anything. Like he who has a why can bear almost anyhow. And if your why is so solid and defined, you can bear anyhow. And that's the strength of it. So start to listen to yourself. Like, not you speaking to yourself. You're not really in control of this voice. Well, you are. It's a part of you. It's really strange how it works. It's your subconscious, a part of it, but not. It's really hard to say where it comes from. And it might also be spiritual. Like, people believe that. I don't know what I believe, to be honest. I'm a man of science. But I do like to believe that there are things that we can't really describe that are still very, very real. And this higher self, right? It's a part of you that wants you to succeed and be the best version of yourself. Now, there's also the worst side of you who does not. You need to be able to distinguish between the two voices and follow the right one, right? It's a guide. It guides you to what you want to do, and at some point it just becomes so intuitive that you don't even have to think about it and you just live, right? Hear that word, live. Boom. That's true. And once you find this within yourself, then you can really start exerting your authority on others and become a brilliant leader. All right. That's what I want to talk about today. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I found this a very interesting topic. I loved speaking about it. So yeah, that's it for me. Hope you had a good day, and bye-bye.